William Whelan here for GetMoreSports.com, and what a day we have here in college basketball. But once again, the eyes of the country will be focused on Tobacco Road as Duke and North Carolina renew their rivalry for the second time this season after an absolute classic in Cameron Indoor Stadium earlier this year that, of course, Duke was able to pull out. Now the two teams match up in the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill, the home of the North Carolina Tar Heels. What are the keys for this game? Now, we talked about it on the podcast a little bit earlier this week. I think there are really two big-time matchups to watch that'll determine the winner of this game. Number one, how do the North Carolina guards, namely Marcus Paige, take care of Duke's guards defensively? The last time these two teams faced up, Quinn Cook and Tyus Jones were lights out. Really hot from beyond the arc, getting to the line, distributing the ball, scoring from all three levels, and playing extremely well defensively as well, holding Marcus Paige to one of his worst shooting performances of the season. But North Carolina's guards have to step up. You're at home. You've got to step up because what you see inside is a matchup that could definitely go either way when you got Jahlil Okafor and, of course, Kennedy Meeks, and we'll talk about that in a moment. You've got to hold your own. They say in sports, just do your job. North Carolina guards have to do their job defensively. They've got to run Quinn Cook off of the three-point line. They've got to make Tyus Jones a little bit. They've really got to make him second guess whether he's going to shoot the ball, whether he's going to penetrate, and what he does in those situations. The more decisions that you can make a freshman point guard have to make, regardless of how talented they are, and certainly Tyus Jones is very talented, the more decisions that you require them to make, I think the more often it plays into your favor. Just because you got to get them thinking out there. You don't want them playing instinctually, catch, shoot, run off picks, catch, shoot, dribble, drive, catch, shoot. That's not the way that you want him to have to play in your building against your talented guards. Now on the inside, North Carolina's Kennedy Meeks and Bryce Johnson are two of the better front court players in the ACC, but they're going against the best one, of course, in Jahlil Okafor. Now, last game, Jahlil Okafor wasn't necessarily an offensive force. He was certainly effective, without a doubt. But part of the reason that I like the front court matchup here for North Carolina is you've got bodies to throw at Jahlil Okafor, and defensively he's a nightmare. I think we've all kind of realized that at this point of the year, that defensively Jahlil Okafor is simply not that good. So Kennedy Meeks is probably the most physically ready inside player in the ACC to compete with Jahlil Okafor, and they need him to do that tonight. He's got to find a way to stay out of foul trouble. Him and Bryce Johnson need to. Sending Jahlil Okafor to the free throw line isn't the worst thing in the world, especially late in the game, because he's incredibly ineffective there. However, you got to stay on the floor, and you got to give yourself a chance to fight up against him on the block and in the paint. So that is going to be a really kind of interesting matchup to watch as the game unfolds. When Jahlil Okafor comes out, does Kennedy Meeks get rest? Is that when he gets a breather? I mean, that's going to be, I think, the substitution patterns regarding the front court are going to be incredibly fascinating to watch between Roy Williams and, of course, Mike Krzyzewski. Really what it comes down to in this game is those two matchups. And so, which way is it going to go? You've got the home momentum for North Carolina, but I do think Duke is the better team. And I think Jahlil Okafor, combined with the backcourt that Duke presents, is going to be just too much for North Carolina to overcome yet again. Give me the Dukes.